Return to office failed miserably. My employer has been insisting on everyone returning to office since we all went home back in 2020. They finally set a date and decide to do it in 2 waves. First wave goes back to the office and within a week 50 people had COVID, so they never sent the second wave. Now they're considering keeping us at home permanently. So it was always an option, they just want to micromanage us. My company changed to permanent work from home and have started freaking out because everyone didn't start working 20 hours of overtime per week to thank them for it. Apparently they seriously thought the only thing stopping us from all working 60-hour per week was the drive time lol. Well, isn't it the consequences of my own actions? Within a month of going back last year, my 5-person office, 4 people had it. I shut my door and wore an N95 anytime I was around anybody. And I was the only person who escaped it. After that I was allowed to work from home permanently. I'm immunocompromised. Unfortunately, it took hospitalizing one coworker and another coworker's spouse to get it done. Oh, my job has been trying to get us back in office since October of last year but keeps pushing it back due to the pandemic. Well, apparently we are set to go for October of this year, but now they are all freaking out because as they have slowly started bringing people back, more and more people have been quitting. So now they are reconsidering, and between now and October we may not go back ever. Unlikely, but a possibility. I went back to the office for 1 day and a client gave me COVID. My boss wants me to start coming back a couple days a week. But it's not off to a good start. It's almost like they're busy listening to all those middle management MBAs who suddenly look very unnecessary when everyone working from home is being just as productive. It's easier to watch your cattle if they are all together. It's because a lot, and I mean a lot, of upper management becomes useless when your workers are at home, and that scares them. That they might need to actually learn a skill instead of running a team that actually does the work. It's all about tax breaks. When you bring a new office into a city, oftentimes they can strong-arm the city council for a property tax break or something, since they're creating jobs. Then they can spend the savings on those monuments to ego known as corporate offices. When people work remote, they lose that clout. My colleagues who return to office have resorted back to WebEx meetings at their cubicle out of pure laziness, convenience. So much for in-person kinetic energy. Now we have unlimited WFH days to use if you sign a form stating you suspect you've been exposed or someone at the office is infected. Any abuse is a termination, though, so not sure how that'll work. Person shrugging, medium skin tone, male sign. Waste of time and energy. Just let us be more productive at home. We've recently stopped wearing masks and social distancing in the office, as well as more people going full-time. We've also recently had our first outbreak of COVID in the office. Coincidence? I think not. Even if COVID wasn't as dangerous as it is, you're still risking most of your staff getting ill because of how infectious it is. Preach. As soon as my ex-company has us return so we can have company culture. I got a horrible case of COVID. Missed a whole week of work and promptly let go after struggling through a week when I returned. Lost my job and got horribly sick, all for the sake of work culture. Most companies are still paying massive amounts of rent on office space and just want to get something out of it. Not saying it's right, but it's honestly what fuels a lot of companies wanting to go back to the office. Corporate and businesses needed occupancy of the office space or building as a legit expense for taxes. When we communicate via Zoom, Work remote. What is the purpose of office buildings for many companies anymore? The fact those tax incentives have been passed on to the employees due to setting aside home space to a working office only further cuts into companies' bottom lines and passes the small savings to the worker. Trickle-up economy. Actually, it's that the managers want to feel like they're doing something. Their job is the one that's not needed, and WFH shows just how little they do. Haha, not exactly like my company. But we were supposed to return to work 1 day a week starting in May. When it happened, we got a couple COVID scares, but nothing scary. After a month, they changed it to 2 times a month. Ha! In my province we have a pretty well-respected online university that's been around for a long time. Has something like 40,000 undergraduate students. Its headquarters is in a small town of under 3,000 people. A few days ago, the government announced it wants the faculty and staff to actually live in the town. That's the whole point of online university. You don't have to physically be there. One of the worst parts about managing an ESL school is ICE's requirement that at least some of the classes be hybrid for certain students. 2 staff immediately got COVID when we tried to hybrid. When one of our teachers died of COVID, unrelated, he was online only at the time. It made us ask some serious questions about what could be done. People want to be with people, just not coworkers.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.